I don't know. My parents always know I was kind of a little
Deviant?
weird, as they would say, kind of did some other things that a lot of people don't necessarily do, so.
Like dudes? Sorry, man.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. I'm Freddie P, back in the place to be. Immediately to my right is Dan Big Doinks Only Zaretsky, and behind the ones and twos, behind the microphones and the camera with the actual wind protector, is producer Zach. Alright, so we started talking real quick when we were going to leave it in the hallway, so I said let's get rolling. We were talking about this Instagram page called Yegwave, or YEG Wave, and I brought it up talking about a cat that apparently got an arrow through it in our city. And I'll find the post real quick. A cat owner in Edmonton lost their cat, and when it did come home, he had an arrow going through him. It was reported that it luckily missed his spine and organs, and that he would make a full recovery. Important to note that just recently another cat in Edmonton was stomped to death by a group of teenagers. This happened in the Hollick Kenyon area. I don't even know where that is.
Why'd you laugh when you said stomped to death?
Just because it's so ridiculous. Like, Edmonton's such a fucked up place. Man. This happened in the Hollick Kenyon area, and police was reportedly contacted. I mean, I think that's fucking gross. I hate when people fuck with animals. It's just. Not only did that then happen, then and then, like, look at this one. This is what kind of made me say, let's fuck it, let's start rolling. As soon as I open my Instagram, it's this, like, younger black kid with an afro. I guess we can post it because I'll send it to you. And it says, Edmonton man acts like Mr. Beast and leaves people hanging at the end. And apparently there's another one at Best Buy.
What a savage.
Fuck, what an asshole.
Would you guys be pissed if you were those people? They're like, I'm getting a 45-inch plasma. And you get, which I don't think still exists, but you get up there and then they're just like, by the way, no one's paying for this except you.
I just be like, you motherfucker.
I feel bad for the employee, but the employee would see what the fuck is going down, so he'd know it wasn't my fault, right?
Yeah. I'd just be like, look at this fucking asshole right here. And then I'd tell him he didn't have my permission to use my face. So then he couldn't use the video.
They can either blur out your face or...
I'm just being a dick.
No, but sure he's kind of... No, because you're in a private, technically, place. If you're in a public environment, they have no rights to not film
if you're
you. But if you're in a store like that that's privately owned, then you could say...
Especially when security's approaching you, telling you no recording in here.
Yeah, and part of the video, security came up and told them there's no recording. They kept recording, but... anyway, that was hilarious. That also leads me to say, because Edmonton's a fucked up place, do you guys know who Kai, the hitchhiking hatchet man, is?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys know that he has a Netflix show now that just came out today?
I thought he was in jail.
Like a documentary
still.
on him, or is his own show?
A documentary on him, and yes, he is in jail.
Yeah. No, I didn't know.
I haven't seen that yet.
Dang.
It's wild, though. Asha and I watched it today before she went to work. Fucking... It like shows him in like California, and the event happens, and then it shows he's like a little celebrity, and everyone's like hooking him up, and then he's like a fucking wild dude, man. There's like no like containing this guy, and not even wild that he was like super destructive everywhere he went. That he kind of was, but it was just like at one point they tried to make like a little reality show about him, and they were trying to get him to review movies, and then they realized they couldn't sit him down long enough to watch a movie to like give you a review on it. And then they were like, "Okay, just sit down and watch the trailer. And then just give us a fucking review on the trailer." And he couldn't even do that. And he was like, Zero Dark 30, which I'm pretty sure is the movie about them like going to kill Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, what's Zero Dark 30? He's like, Zero Dark 30. That's about when they put fluoride in your water to try to control the people and make you buy expensive houses and then die so they can sell your houses. Chemtrails, and like list some chemical I'd never heard of before. And if there's chemtrails outside your house, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it wasn't even close to what Zero Dark 30 is about. Not even in the same fucking sport, never mind ballpark. But then, and then at some point it talks about how his parents are all fucked up and they raised him all fucked up, and apparently they like locked him in his room for like hours on end when he was a little kid, and then it's just like fades to black. Then all of a sudden you see a river and you see it downtown, and I'm like, oh fuck. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm like, fuck. Because he's from here. And yeah, his mom's even in the show, and she was like, he says, like the Kai guy said in a Facebook post or whatever, a rant that he went on, that his mom would lock him in his room so she could like get fucked and just have like a get fucked and then like wake up in the morning and not have to like deal with him, and then until he opened it and shit. And then when did talk to her about it, she was like, yeah, he was just like, she's like, I didn't do anything wrong, it was just responsible parenting. He was too much of a wild kid. Like, he'd wake up way earlier than I would wake up and just like get into things that could hurt himself, so I pretty much had to like temporarily encase him in his room. And it's like, yo, what you're saying, what he's saying happened. You locked him in his fucking room.
That's like the nicest way. I had to temporarily encase him in
yeah,
his room.
some shit like that. But it was just funny that this guy is just like the wildest dude. And then it's like, well, where is he from? Edmonton.
Well, sounds like a classic Edmonton household.
Yeah.
Classic Edmonton folk, you know? Wildin' on 118.
Just nuts. What a fucking place, man.
Man, speaking of people from Edmonton, have you been listening to any of Tom McDonald's music lately?
Man, fuck that guy.
I understand. Fuck that guy. I don't listen to this shit either.
You don't know who Tom McDonald is?
He's been doing well for
himself. I know
himself
Michael McDonald, but I don't know Tom McDonald.
Who's Michael McDonald?
He's a beautiful singer. Which is why I thought that I never forget what I just said. But
I mean,
who's
if
Tom
you're going
McDonald?
for musicians from Edmonton, I'd say Mac DeMarco would be my pick for musicians from Edmonton.
Really? That kid that hangs out with
Mac DeMarco. Whose album did he just produce?
Okay, we're not thinking about the same guy.
No, he makes his own music. He's he's an indie artist. Like,
I was thinking about a guy that I used to know hanging out with, like the Union Hall Craig Night Shift guy.
No. This guy went out to UBC. Like, he went to UBC, I think, for his music like schooling, and then he went to some school in New York after, I think.
My two picks for Edmonton artists would be Young Talks, who I hope to have on the podcast one day, and Seven Side Smoke, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I fuck with him too.
Yeah. His music's sick.
More
I like his
local
Instagram.
artists, yeah, but like,
to be honest, just I don't know anyone. Like, I mean, I know Cadence Weapon was like a rapper from Edmonton back in the day that was pretty big, but like I don't really like those two dudes. I actually listen to their music. I don't know like any other people from Edmonton whose music I genuinely actually listen to.
Who's DeMarco? Or who's McDonald?
Sorry,
rapper.
Tom McDonald is actually this guy that Josh, who's been on our pod before, and some of my other buddies went to high school with him. He went to St. Joe's. He tried to be a professional wrestler, and then he became a rapper. And he's like, I want to say like a shock factor rapper, but not in the sense of like Insane Clown Posse or even like a Bizarre from D12. It's not like yeah, that's him. It's not like it's not like his music are necessarily like Bizarre from D12, like Break My Grandma and shit like that. Because like I know there's like a whole subgenre of rap called like shock rap, or I can't remember, some shit like that, horrorcore shock rap or some shit, where it's just all about like super crazy shit that like ridiculous fuckingly dark rap and shit. He just raps about like almost like this shit that like Donald Trump talks about, kind of how like it's hard to be a white guy these days, and that like I don't know what else.
I don't listen to his music. I just know he's been doing well view-wise and exposure-wise lately, so.
Yeah. I don't, like, I remember one song he had was about, like, that kind of blew him up. I actually had saw it on Reddit, which I remember being like, what the fuck?
Straight white male or some shit?
Something like that, yeah, and he's talking about how it's, like, tough to be a straight white male, and, like, he just, like, applying, like,
he's
really,
more diverse
like,
than that as an artist, but, like, yeah, like I said, I don't really listen to his shit.
Like, I'm like not even that big on Reddit, but I fuck with Reddit a lot, and somebody brought him up on some random Reddit thread. I don't even think it was his music. Someone just commented on it, and I was reading the comments, and it said he was a former professional wrestler. And like I said, I know people who knew him in high school. Like, by professional wrestling, it was like that MWP local fucking Edmonton. Like, it's not like he was even in a thing to get into becoming a fucking like WWE superstar or anything like that. Like, the guy was as local as it gets. And then somebody wrote like he used to be a professional wrestler, he knows about being a hype, and I was like, I just commented like, man, professional is a big fucking stretch. And then the guy commented back and wrote from his Wikipedia page, Tom McDonald is a rapper from Edmonton, Alberta, and former professional wrestler. And I was like, first off, I never said he never got paid to wrestle. I said it's a stretch to call you a professional. And I was like, secondly, I know people that went to high school. I know the wrestling. I've literally been to the wrestling. I've been to a wrestling show of the company that puts on, because I used to know a little midget that wrestled in that fucking.
Of course you did.
I did, yeah.
Of course you did.
And then Liquid, shout out Liquid, my man.
It's not fair to talk about Nico like that, okay?
No, this guy was legitimately a fucking dwarf or a midget or whatever. He was the shit though. But I responded to that like, all I said was fucking professional is a stretch, and I was like, and I wouldn't doubt that Tom McDonald wrote that himself. Like, I wouldn't even doubt that he wrote his Wikipedia page personally, which is fucked.
Or his publicist or whatever, like publisher or whatever, PR person probably wrote something along those lines.
I guess.
I mean, he's still an independent artist, so he probably is very involved with that shit, but...
Never fuck that guy.
Mac DeMarco's good shit, though. I like his music a lot. And yeah, whose album did he produce? Logic's or something like that? He just produced a nice rap album, like, a year or two ago. I think it was Logic's. But yeah, he's been super successful for a long time now. I mean, other Edmonton celebrities, other than like sports stars, would be like Tommy Chong and stuff like that, you know.
I forget that he's from Edmonton all the time.
Yeah, it's a classic. Great guy too. Super nice when you meet him in person.
Yeah, I remember that was your profile picture or whatever for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's probably quite a few hockey players. Chris Benoit.
Oh, lots of, like, even just like
The wrestler?
nowadays and shit like that. Lots of kids.
He's from Edmonton?
Yeah, he went to O'Leary.
Shit. That's
My friend's mom was in class with him, apparently. I think my auntie might have been too.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he went to O'Leary High School. Northside shit.
Nice.
You guys made a point earlier that I want to ask you. You said the guy makes a song about how it's hard to be a white male. What's your thoughts on if it's hard to be a white male?
What's the definition of hard? Like, what?
If you don't know that, then that was a penis joke, but whatever.
I got it.
Thank you.
No, but like, to the actual question though, like, are you actually asking us, or like, yeah, like, I don't know, depends what you want to call hard. It's harder to get away with certain jokes, or when you're insinuating something, you know, like when you're just trying to make a funny point or something like that. It's a little harder to get away with that nowadays as a straight white male, because people automatically assume you're an extremist in things, you know? You represent that character to the extreme, although you can be a super moderate or liberal guy. But it's not hard for us. I mean, shit, there's definitely other people who have it way fucking harder in the world, so I wouldn't call it hard. Yeah, it's harder than it was 50 years ago when you could do whatever the fuck you wanted, but I mean, it's not hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess technically less privileged is harder, but harder is like so like subjective. Like, harder than whom? Harder than, like, does some super wealthy person of color's kid have it easier than me? Yeah, probably. Is there people of like the exact same like social stature and upbringing that probably have it maybe a little bit tougher than me or whatever? Yeah, probably. But I think in Canada it more relates to like your parents and your upbringing, man. A lot of people, it's harder to find people that are in like tougher spots, quote unquote, that had like two parents that stayed together, I feel like. A lot of people I know more that had like two parents that like didn't stay together, had like a rougher home life where they like seen them fight and shit. Not saying that they're less successful than other people, I just noticed that they kind of like had things a little harder, had a little bit more challenge and struggle in their life than people that kind of came from a family with parents that stayed together. Whatever they went on to be successful is up for debate, but I just meant like as much like struggle going through life. I feel like if you have a good family at home that you can go home to every day, things seem to go a little easier. And of course money helps, let's not fucking lie. But different situations come with different problems, you know what I mean? Like, I relate. I'm not gonna say names, but I got one friend who they're not very financially stable or whatever. But like his parents are, or at least one of his parents is super involved in his life. Like never misses anything, knows every fucking detail about the life and shit like that. And then this is actually like multiple kids that I know just because of the high school I went to, where they're like, parents are like, oh well, in some cases super wealthy, but at least quite wealthy, where they're like sending their kids to another country to go to school or sending them to live in dorm when they're already only in high school and shit like that. And it's like, I'm sure they still have a good relationship with their parents, but their parents are just busier making money. You know what I mean? Like they're just, it's like a Venn diagram of like,
They're using their money to have other people raise their child for them because they're busy making money.
I don't know about that, because at least some of them, I think a lot of the time it was the mom raising them still.
If you're in a dorm already in high school, that's like... those are crucial years where a parent has to still have some influence on their child, but if that child is no longer in your household, it's hard to have that sort of influence on them.
Well, you guys have at least met one of the guys. I met Franco in high school, and he lived in dorm. His parents were still in Hong Kong.
I've only met him once at a lunch. Nice guy.
I think you've only met him once or twice as well.
But not enough to make a judgment of his character.
I've met him a couple times. I wouldn't assume that whatsoever. He's a pretty well-adjusted individual, and
to be honest, he wasn't one of the people I was thinking of.
No,
in
I'm
that
just saying
example.
when you said that he lived in dorms while his parents were still in Hong Kong, like I would never make that association just because he just seems like a parent or a child of parents that have already been here type of thing. Because he just seems very well-adjusted. He's an articulate, smart guy. Like, yeah, I wouldn't assume that whatsoever.
I was actually there. His parents came to Canada, and I don't think they had seen each other in like 2 years or something. And I remember dropping them off, and they were like at the place they were meeting, and they were so happy to see each other. But she perfectly covered my phone with her tail, like perfectly covered it. That was hilarious. Yeah, no, but I knew quite a few people that had done that. I don't know. I think it fucks with some people and doesn't fuck with other people. It definitely makes people more independent from an early age. Like they kind of become more able to just like figure shit out on their own kind of and like build structure.
I feel like either it's two ends of the spectrum. It's either like, yeah, much more independent and doing their own thing, or becoming super like antisocial and like, becoming super homely and staying in your like safe space. Whether you have a friend group of 2 or 3 people, or whether you're just at home gaming all the time. I feel like that's how those kids always end up. Either super like super independent, doing their own thing, or like super small circles, super away from everybody. I don't know. That's how I've seen it with some of the kids I went to school with and stuff like that. So,
well, I definitely know a couple of them that it was just like, they were from a small town and like drugs were pretty prevalent in the high school, and they thought going to like a smaller high school in Edmonton, which to be honest, in hindsight, the high school that I went to, like there was weed, and then there was like 1 or 2 people that were like fucking around doing actual drugs, but they just kind of kept to themselves. Like there was no like, everyone was just drinking and like maybe doing a little bit of weed. No, like the little group of people that did drugs just kind of like, it was just like a little group of friends, and they just kind of did their own thing. Like they weren't trying to recruit, you know what I mean? Like,
you guys weren't trying to recruit?
The weed people, like, it was funny, man. At my grade, when I was in grade 11, the after grad party, everybody that wanted to smoke weed, one guy brought like a fucking like 3.5 gram blunt. So he's like, everyone who wants to come smoke weed, come smoke weed. So we're standing in this big like 20-person circle. Yeah. It was after grad.
Dog.
I'm just saying I went to a very rural high school, and weed was like the top of the list at that time. And if someone had a 3.5 gram blunt, we'd have thought that our heads were going to get, you know what I mean? Like it was we're very under a rocky compared to you guys, you know what I mean? So that's what I say in high school. Like I didn't even smoke weed till I was halfway through grade 12.
Yeah, I started smoking weed in like the summer of grade 9.
That's what I'm saying. So it's very, very funny to see the two different.
But back in the day, my friends and I used to go ham. Like we wouldn't really smoke weed during the week and shit. We just had like one friend's house that we could smoke weed at. So, like Dan would have $20, I would have $20, you would have fucking $50 because it was just your birthday or whatever the fuck, we were all working shitty jobs, and we'd all get together and like, it was a little bit after high school. Josh and I were just talking about it. But like one time we all bought an ounce. Like the first time we all bought an ounce, and we rolled 2 7-gram blunts and 7 2-gram blunts. Smoked them all in one evening, and then the next morning woke up and smoked a blunt of the roaches that ended up being like 4 grams of all of those blunts. And then Josh was laughing about it. He's like, yeah, man, you always been wild. And I was like, why? He's like, 'cause I remember you went to a basketball practice after that. I was like, fuck yeah, I did. I didn't even remember that. I like went and ran my fucking ass off.
Tried to play center when he's supposed to be point guard.
Was Rollmaster 3000 rolling those blunts then?
He was probably rolling a lot of them, yeah.
And a generation blunt, eh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Rollmaster 3000 probably rolled. Actually, you're referring to him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Rollmaster 3000, but then the original name.
Rollmaster 1000, the previous version.
There was another guy. There was another guy who was like the first dude,
Yeah.
and then Josh thought he had taken over as being the best roller from that guy, and I used to call that guy like the Rollmaster. Yeah, I think it was 2000 because I think I was making a joke off like the. Terminator? Yeah, I think I was calling him the Rollmaster 2000, and I think Josh thought he passed him, so he started... I think he might have just said it 3000 one day, and then I just started calling him that, but... Anyway, fuck, what was it? Oh, all these people in the circle, they were all sitting there talking about how, like, oh, I didn't know you had smoked weed. I didn't know you had smoked weed. None of them smoked weed with each other, and I was just sitting there, I was like, man, this is fucked up. And they were like, why? I was like... Because none of you seem to have smoked weed with each other. And they were all like, yeah. And I was like, I've smoked weed with every single person in this fucking circle. Every single one of you has smoked weed with me. But none of you have seemed to smoke weed with each other. I was just like, I don't know, man. Everyone in my high school knew I smoked weed. Teachers, everybody. And I went to a high school of like 115 kids, man. And just like...
You're just a bad influence,
Dude, the person who... The girl who does my hair, I actually went to high school with, and I went and saw her on Thursday, and we were talking about it, and she was like... We were just talking about high school, and she's like, Fred, but you gotta understand, like, you got away with murder at that place. Like, literally, everyone, like... If you got caught smoking cigarettes or weed, you weren't supposed to be on any of the school basketball teams. Or on any of the school sports team. I was literally the captain of the basketball team.
You?
Yeah.
Damn, it must have been a bad team.
You know how I get down. Zach knows how I get down. I'm not actually that good at basketball. I went to a really small high school.
That lighter shot was fucking
Dude, last time
miles short earlier.
Last time we played basketball at that court over there, I actually elbowed Nico in the face. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
So yeah,
that was a good day though.
That was fun as hell.
That was fun. Yeah, if you got like X amount of technical fouls, you weren't supposed to be able to win any of the awards at the end of the year. I got like 5. You weren't supposed to be able to do it after like 2 or 3. Still got the award at the end of the year. Like, you're supposed to be wearing a uniform when you went to high school. You literally used to wear a white t-shirt and like a zip-up hoodie and just zip my hoodie up all the way. Like, I would show up at the beginning of the day wearing it, and then at lunch I'd play basketball every day. And then I would wear that after lunch. And then... I'm just like, well, fuck, man. Like, it's so hot. I don't want to put all this shit back on. And then for the first, like, couple weeks, she would send me to the office all cheesed about it. And then the disciplinary / assistant principal was my basketball coach. So it's like, I'm the starting point guard and captain for the basketball team. The person you're sending me to get in trouble. Nice throw. The person you're sending me to get in trouble is that guy. So, like, my teacher literally told me she eventually just realized that I would just go down there and bullshit with them for, like, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then just go back up to class literally wearing the same thing. And she eventually was just like, I just stopped. She's like, fuck it. Like, I just stopped. I just stopped sending you down there. So, I don't know. It was a different situation for me in high school. Went to a very small... I didn't lock my locker. I could not genuinely tell you I guess no one remembers their high school locker comp, but, like... You could have asked me a day after I graduated. I have no idea. I genuinely did not lock my locker. I just left it.
Oh, that's good. I mean, no crime at your school, or if you don't leave any valuables in there, I guess no one's going to steal.
I leave
your
my phone in my wallet in there all the time.
Oh, there you go. Good.
Dude, it's 115 kids. I knew everybody first name, last name.
Yeah, so that's a very unique environment.
Was that 115 in grade 12 or the entire high school?
Whole school. Like 30 in my graduating class.
Shit.
Literally knew everybody first name, last name. You know half their parents.
Dang.
You know whatever.
Man's went to a posh school. Very posh.
Ish.
Fucking school.
What school?
Concordia High School. It's now just a university. It was on the campus of the university.
By Northlands there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right off Wayne Gretzky.
You know
there?
that first building you see that's right on 111th? Yeah, that was a high school at one point. And then their lease just like the university was leasing them the building, and then eventually they just let the lease run out and didn't renew them. And we're like, yeah, you got to find somewhere else to go. And then they went to a different campus and lasted like 1, maybe 2 years, and then they went fucking tits up because they were a private school, so they didn't get any government funding. So without the helping of the university, they got fucked.
Yeah, too many people are crackheads these days. They can't afford to send their kids to the private
But the thing is,
school.
they also tried to be like a little bit of a disciplinary school. So there'd be like a couple like quote unquote bad kids, but it was like rich parents that were like their kids really weren't that bad, man. Like I'd still know kids that like went to O'Leary or went to St. Joe's, and like shit was way wilder at other high schools. Like there was like 3 fights in my high school the whole 3 years I was there.
That's
And I
lame.
personally broke up like 2 of them.
That's lame.
One kid got dummied though. There was a kid with dreads, and he was fucking with this girl, and she's legitimately fucking crazy. And then the one day he showed up like covered in fucking scratches and like bruised up, and like I mean like covered, dude. It looked like a movie scene. How many fucking like deep scratches this guy had. And we were all like, what happened? And he was like, I'm not gonna name names because this does actually get pretty intense. But he was like, I was driving with said girl in my truck. He used to have this like old beater truck because he came from some small like a farm in Alberta, and he had this old like fucking Chevy or something. And he was like, man, I was just driving. He's like, thank God I just pulled off a busy road. Oh, wait, I wouldn't do the clip at this point. This is decently intense.
You never named any names.
That's true, but apparently she just started like swinging on the dude and like fucking him up while he was driving. He's like, dude, I just pulled off like a busy road onto a side road. He's like, thank fucking God. Apparently she started fucking him up, then he eventually ended up hitting her, like backhanding her, and then hopping out of his own, like taking the keys and jumping out of his own truck. And then he was like didn't want to tell any of us because we thought we were all going to beat him up because he like hit a girl. But then we like looked at him and we're like, yeah, dude, like I'm pretty sure that was self-defense. Like you look pretty fucking fucked up right now. And then there was this other kid that came to our school for literally like 1 semester, and he genuinely was a bad kid. Like I don't know his whole story, but I could just tell he was a fucking deviant kid. And he must have had the hots for this girl because she told him. And he fucking rolled up behind this kid because the kid that it happened to with the truck had dreadlocks. And he fucking grabbed this kid by the dreadlocks so you know he can't go anywhere. And just started fucking dummying him. Boom, 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 boom. And I remember it took probably like, I want to say like 30 to 45 seconds before like myself and a couple of the other guys could like, yo, chill. Like, it's all good. And his fucking nose was leaking.
They call that starting the chainsaw where I'm from.
He must have probably eaten, I don't know, 50 punches without trying to exaggerate. Like, all one direction. He didn't send a single one in return. He got grabbed by the dreads, pretty much sucker punched, held up, and fucking dummied until we could kind of break it apart.
That's like
His nose, like I don't even really want to say his nose was broken. He was bleeding like pretty profusely, but like I don't even remember him getting black eyes or his teeth getting knocked out or anything. Like he was, I almost feel like she did more visual damage. Like he was getting hit. Like I don't know, man. It was pretty quick. I was in like the 10th grade, but I don't remember his nose being fucked up or him like showing up to school with a big black eye after it or anything. Maybe it was just like the side of the head. I don't remember. But I just remember he caught a lot of fucking punches.
yeah.
Maybe, I mean, the other guy, I think, if I like remember correctly, like, I wouldn't have thought about it at the time, but in hindsight, he was probably like very early into pills or like into coke or something because he was a super skinny
Sounds
white
like that
kid.
guy and that girl are, match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Little psycho motherfuckers. But,
Well, she had a pretty wild life too, but whatever.
it's all good. I don't know. It's not that hard to drive while you're getting fucked up.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I've done it. It's not that bad.
You've been getting fucked up while driving? Like,
Oh, big time,
getting
yeah.
fucked up sounds like you're drinking and driving.
No, but you know what I mean. you know what I'm talking about. I mean,
Oh. I'm assuming right, I'm assuming?
huh?
The person, I'm assuming, is probably right? Or who hit you? Am I assuming the right person?
Well, that's what I'm saying. How many women have there been in my life?
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I didn't know it was a woman at the time. Yeah, okay, that
Bitch
makes
be
sense.
crazy.
What is that? You didn't know if it was a woman at the time. Was she
We're talking about bitches be
androgynous?
crazy, and I'm talking about getting.
Well, I thought we were just talking about getting fucking
never
punched
mind.
and shit while
I
you were
thought that
driving down the
meant
road. It could have
when
been a
you
dude.
met this person, you didn't know if it was a woman or not. Is what I thought you meant, and that confused me for a second.
No, I didn't know if the person who had hit Dan while he was driving down the road was a man or a woman.
It's not that hard. It's kind of distracting, but like, I don't know. It's not that hard.
Fuck all that.
Done it in winter, nighttime, daytime. I don't know. It's not
Kick
bad.
that bitch out of my car. Do you have your ashtray somewhere? I don't see it on the table, the one I usually use.
I'm a straight white male. It's not gonna look good, okay? If I kick a bitch out my car. We have it so hard.
Ejectocito, cuz. Fucking Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Tyrese.
And it doesn't work, and he's like, fuck. Yeah, because Paul Walker's works, but Tyrese's does not work.
Ejectocito, cuz.
Presses the button. Oh, wait, no. His works, and Paul Walker's doesn't
Paul
work.
Walker's doesn't, yeah, because he gets to say that. Ejectocito,
Well, I know,
cuz.
but I thought he said it, and then it didn't work, and he made a dumbass face.
I
for
never
that.
knocked on nobody.
That was Paul Walker, who didn't work.
You know they're making Fast 10?
The
I
first
stopped
three are the
watching
best.
a couple movies ago. I just can't, can't fuck with the space shit and all. It's just getting too wild. Like, if I wanted to watch the Avengers, I'd watch the Avengers. I don't need no,
Right?
Like,
And they don't need cars.
yeah.
Monica.
I remember, the last one I remember genuinely trying to watch was the one where they were, going to Mexico or whatever with the tunnels.
Yeah,
And then I even
exactly.
remember being
That's the
this
last one
one
I
was
watched.
a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was on a flight one time, and I tried to watch the one with Ronda Rousey when they go to Dubai and shit, and I could not I couldn't get into it. It's bad when it's on a flight and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna just look out the fucking window. I could not watch that fucking movie, man. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm over this shit.
Yeah. Nah, it's all good. Fuck. Speaking of flight entertainment, man, some companies, entertainment systems are so garbage, man. The options they have for you to watch and, it not working half the fucking time. Some flight companies are just trash for that shit.
When I just went to Mexico in November, Air Canada's was pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm surprised you had a good time on Air Canada, because Air Canada usually gets...
They got a
the
little,
wrath
pretty much
of the
like an
people.
iPad in the back, and they had TV,
Yeah.
they had movies, they had the flight trip plan, they had games that I saw kids playing.
Yeah, but that's
which
been standard for 10 years now, and they better fucking have that. They didn't
That's
have that, I'd be
fucking whack,
pissed.
though, man. The games, imagine being in front of a little kid that's just sitting there tapping the back of your fucking chair for an hour when you're on a flight. Fuck.
How far would you
man.
have to be pushed on a flight to strike a child?
Oh, why
To
wouldn't you
strike
strike
a
a child? I might strike their parent.
Dog, that's straight
Just
up
play
the cops
along.
waiting for you at the airport. That's not unless the plane's going down, I ain't striking no children.
Straight up, though, but I'll tell that kid to go fuck themselves so that if their fucking parent does something to
Santa ain't real,
say,
motherfucker.
me and their fucking parent can have a conversation about it. Literally on the plane, Asha and I were sitting next to each other, and these kids behind us were fucking being lunatics, man, kind of kicking our chairs. And we didn't want to openly just talk about it because we knew it wasn't gonna. We were texting on a phone and just we were writing it in the notes section of a phone and just handing the phone back and forth. But then when she handed it to me, she kind of glanced and she realized that it was a mom and two kids, and then across the aisle was the dad. And he was clearly looking over my shoulder and trying to read the phone. So I just wrote zoomed in almost on my phone, wrote this kid behind me is so fucking annoying, kicking my goddamn chair. And then I sat there with the phone in my hand, and then a minute or two later the kicking just stopped. So I'm assuming the dad was just yo, stop.
Yeah, exactly.
But that could have went
Choked him out.
that could have went definitely south. That parent could have taken that a different way. But it's well, fuck, man, I'm gonna be on this flight for 6 more hours. It's been 45 minutes. Your kid's been kicking my chair this whole goddamn time. Something's got to stop, or I'm gonna fucking. There's a breaking point at some point.
You just gotta learn Polish, and then you don't have to fucking text each other. You can just talk.
Yeah, I know. We can just talk in Polish. Yeah, I've been thinking about it because I've always kind of wanted to learn a second language, and I used to want it to be Spanish. But I mean, at this point, there's really no way I shouldn't be learning Polish, right?
Yeah.
When this comes out, she's gonna hear me say this and be like, "Man." Shit starting because she's been on my ass.
Oh fuck, get going, bud. You got Duolingo living in your house, buddy. You got this. Dora the Explorer gonna teach you today.
Yeah, it'd be wild when I go to the family events, right? Understand the people talking shit about me,
exactly.
thinking
Just
that they
don't tell
don't
them.
even understand.
Yeah.
It was funny because we went to a wedding on the weekend, and this guy that like I've met a few times, and I guess he's like one of her older brothers, like decently good friends. And he comes up to me when I'm outside smoking, and he was like, "Man, I'm so like glad that you're a good guy and you guys are happy and shit." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm happy that we're happy too." And then he was like, "Yeah. When you first came around, I seen, I was like, look at this fucking guy and his fucking haircut. Are we gonna have to fucking fight this guy?" And I was like, "Yo, what? Because I have like long hair, like a man bun. You're gonna have to fight me?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
Accurate.
All right, dog. Whatever you say, bro. Seemed a bit excessive, but I mean, it is what it is.
It's a protective community. They look after the women. The women don't have many rights, but they are protected.
Yo,
by the
it's so
men.
funny. Apparently, I like changed the women's rights in their circle a little bit for the longest time. Okay, so the men, when you show up at one of their events, always walk around and like shake everybody's hands. Like I'll be like relatively big showing up at some of these events, and I'll like kind of forget and start saying hi to like the people that I'm like closer with in the whole fucking family of 30 people or whatever the fuck.
Disrespect.
And Asher will be like, "Go shake their hands, go shake their hands." I'm like, "Oh fuck." Some of these guys I don't even really know. I probably haven't said like more than 10 words to these fucking guys, and I gotta go around and shake all their hands and shit. And then I started going to like hug her mom. The first couple times her mom like didn't do anything. I think I even said this on the podcast before. Yeah, and then like she didn't fuck around or whatever. And then long story short, I was like, well, no, gotta fucking say hi. So I started saying hi to the other women as well, like the other people's wives and shit. And I was like, fuck, this might go a different way. These guys might get cheesed at me going around and hugging all their wives. But I don't want to hugging them like that. I'm just hugging them to say hi. But now they all do it. Now they all walk around and fucking say hi to all the women and shit too. So I'm just out here setting trends, being a fucking OG.
Showing them that things can happen, like that can happen, nothing bad happens. The world doesn't end.
Right?
The women don't run off on you,
Right? Not try to take your wife, dude. Just try to say hello to her. I guess you can say hello with a fucking handshake too, but whatever.
I gotta go all European. You gotta go for the kiss
double
on the
kiss?
cheeks.
Do this
Yeah.
all the time. Like that's how it shakes.
I think you meant booty smacking.
No, I meant like, when they're just like
That.
over and over.
Like fucking Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, just keep dapping over and over and over till someone says, "All right, man, give it up." You know what I mean?
Like when you're throwing a baseball with your buddy and you both want to quit, but you don't want to be the guy to quit?
I've never quit throwing a baseball
Exactly.
till the seam comes off or the cover comes off the ball.
Oh, throwing heaters. Randy Johnson over here.
Yeah, I killed a bird once.
Killed the bird once. Ate it.
What was your top
Pigeon.
pitching speed? You ever measure the speed you can pitch
That
at?
was like 37 kilometers an hour.
I'm sorry.
just fucking
Were you an
around.
8-year-old girl?
Dude, I played third base. I didn't have to have like.
I played
actual
third
heat.
base and outfield, dog. You need to have some fucking.
Yeah, I thought
have
third
a
base,
good
you gotta
arm.
field the ball and get it to
I
first.
pitched
Yeah,
a
but
couple
you still
times.
gotta throw 97,000 miles
Bro,
an
bro,
hour.
heaters
If you're not
only.
throwing a heater, then it means you're throwing a huge lob ball, which takes forever to get the home plate.
You know what that
Frozen
tells
rope,
me
dog.
is that you were throwing the ball, and sometimes it got away from you.
Nah, bro. I throw sidearm, bro. I throw some fucking
yeah.
nasty fucking.
No,
Nasty
Derek
fucking
Jeter.
balls.
Yeah, he
Zaretsky
wasn't
over here.
No, I played baseball for a couple of years. That's
Fucking
fun.
Patrick Mahomes.
That's how I pitch though. I just throw a side, fucking like.
I can't.
All respect to third baseman, though. It's a tough position to play.
It's
Have you
really
guys
really
seen-
And I was
strategic.
second string.
You need
Second string as well, so I wasn't exactly a starter.
no. You need to it's very strategic. In third base, you can set up the good plays to get 3 fucking guys out in one fucking hit.
happens like once every 57 games.
It may be professional fucking baseball, but not when you're playing like
There's these
kids.
videos.
Dog. It's easier to fuck them up because they don't know what the fuck they're running into.
There's these videos where it'll be a group of people, like 4 or 5 people. No, sorry, it's 2 people. And then there'll be a group of 4 or 5 people. And the group of 4 or 5 people will be trying to convince the 2 people they're whatever the topic is. So Ash has watched them a few times, so I've seen them a few times. One of them is like, which one of these people went to jail for selling drugs?
Yeah. Is that like the
It's all like always like a white screen kind of, and then they're just talking.
White screen. It's not like a black back. Is it like a professional outfit, or is it a bunch of like YouTubers doing their own
Is it
version of
Watch Cut or something like that?
I don't know the name, and it definitely kind of looks more like a very professional YouTube thing.
Okay.
Anyway, there's this clip going around where one of them was they're trying to see which person was a gay man, and one of the people was. Have you seen which one I'm talking about? It's like.
I think I've seen the one where it's like a bunch of gay men. Which one's the straight one out of these gay men? I think I've seen that one.
Maybe. I didn't see this actual episode. I just saw the little clip about it, and then the girl has a ball in her hand, and she's like,
Yo, yeah, yes, throw this fucking ball, dog. The gayest throw I've ever
apparently
seen
gay
in my
men
life.
can't throw a baseball.
Bruh.
Hands him the ball, throw this ball, and he's like how? And she's like just throw it like a ball, and it's the worst fucking like attempt at a pitch you've ever seen. So I said, I can't throw a baseball very well, but I at least could go through the motions of a straight man throwing a fucking baseball or a football.
And there's been some terrible like celebrity first pitches in a game and shit, dog. Like seeing some of them, it's like, bruh, how you're a man? Like what? Like how? The ball went 10 feet to the left, or
50 cents first throw was pretty bad.
Oh, bro. If you at least get it to home plate, you know, you're doing all right. But, like, some of these guys can't get anywhere near that. It's ridiculous.
Apparently I heard one of the people say, a baseball player, I don't remember who it was, but they always tell the people, it's further than you think, man. Aim high. Aim high.
Aim high, Willis. Yeah.
Oh, man, those guys are fucking pitching at stupid miles per hour. Like, that's the reason why they can throw it fucking straight. If you're pitching at a quarter of the speed, you better fucking aim high, because that shit's gonna come down before it gets to home plate all day.
But that's the thing. A lot of people can throw fast. It's being able to throw fast and keep
accurate.
it in that 1 yard by 1 yard box. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but yeah. It's hard. It's tough, but like, it's doable. I don't know. I used to pitch.
With the other pitches too.
I used to pitch.
You fucking, what was your pitch, bro? You fucking throwing knuckleballs out there? Switch ups? Change ups?
Like I said, sidearm all day, bro. Nah, it's mostly
I don't know.
fastballs and a couple of curve balls, but like my curves are pretty slow, but they're nasty. Like they're.
That's why I can't throw a baseball with shit.
It's all how you grip it, like, you know, it's how you grip on the seam, and you know, a little bit of hand technique, but like
How you grip onto semen?
That's what I heard too.
on the seam. You know, like it's what you know.
That A$AP Rocky
if
video?
you play baseball, you know it's how you
People
fucking
fighting, slipping on semen. A$AP Ferg's like, what the fuck? It's a funny video too. Slipping on semen.
Those videos are pretty funny though. Those are like when they're trying to find out who the one person is and shit like that.
Yeah.
I've seen other YouTubers renditions of those types of videos, and I think there's 2 or 3 professional outfits that do that type of shit like as their content, like 24/7.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's cool. It's nice that people still are going through the motions of trying to make some original content. You know.
What do you got for us over there, Zachary? Unless there's anything else you want to talk about. Is that a new cookies hat? Or just
Nah,
another cookies hat?
It's just another cookies hat.
I got some facts about some facts about earthquakes if you guys want.
Sure.
All right.
And then I also have a would you rather for you guys. So
Okay.
so as for facts of earthquakes, and I'm not sure why I thought about this, but earthquakes are pretty cool if you think about it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Natural events such as volcanic eruptions and meteor impacts can cause earthquakes, but the majority of naturally occurring earthquakes are triggered by movement of the Earth's tectonic plates.
Yeah.
The Earth's surface consists of 20 constantly moving plates. So the pressure increase from shifting plates can cause the crust to break. This break allows stress to be released as energy, which moves through the Earth in the form of waves, whether they're in the water or on land. Tsunamis are also usually generally caused by earthquakes.
In the ocean, yeah.
Correct. So normally it's not the shaking ground itself that claims lives during an earthquake. It's the associated destruction of man-made structures and the instigation of other natural disasters such as tsunamis, avalanches, and landslides. Not only is it important to have a plan for yourself in the case of an earthquake, but your pets need a disaster plan as well. Create a plan for your animals around, so if disaster strikes, you'll be prepared. The National Earthquake Information Center records an average of 20,000 earthquakes every year, about 50 a day around the world. But there are, however, millions of earthquakes estimated to occur every year that are too weak to be recorded. Just like my jump shot. Also my vert as well. I got nothing there. Each year, the Southern California area has about 10,000 earthquakes, the majority of which go unnoticed. However, if there is a large earthquake, the aftershock sequence will produce many more earthquakes of all magnitudes for months. You guys can stop me whenever you're done hearing about earthquakes.
Keep going.
Almost 80%. Almost 80% of all the planet's earthquakes occur along the rim of the Pacific Ocean, called the Ring of Fire. Also, a song by JC, Johnny Cash. A region that encircles the Pacific Ocean is home to 452 volcanoes. 452, over 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes.
You guys see that show on Netflix about that volcano that went off?
Dante's
Nah,
Peak?
not yet. One from like the 2 years ago on the island, right?
Yeah,
Well,
some
yeah,
like
fuck
Hawaii Island or some shit. You're good on this, I'm assuming?
I'm good, yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't watch the documentary yet. I mean, I followed the case when it first happened.
Sure, it's pretty wild, man. It was like an open volcano that like some resort would take people
Oh,
to.
yeah. I haven't seen the thing, but I know
Is it
exactly
about the
what you're talking
litigation
about.
itself, or is it just about the people and what they experienced that day?
Mostly the people. It's all like those like survivors and shit talking about it. Like there was one guy that was doing the tours, and like I don't remember a lot of the movie, and I won't even spoil it. But there's like some survivor stories that are pretty fucking wild on that shit.
Yeah.
But he was like decently close to going back to the boat, and he was like, yeah, I looked over my shoulder, and he was like, yeah, that like he's like, I just had that split second thought, like that thing's literally erupting right now. So he just fucking took off running towards the ocean. And just fucking ran off the dock or whatever, took the biggest breath he could and just dove. And he's like, I just stayed underwater as long as I thought that I could stay underwater. He's like, I came up and there was just like ash everywhere. He's like, I saw a boat and it's like, do I go to the boat or do I go back and try and help people? And then he went back and helped people and shit like that. And it's just his story of going back to help people and blah, blah, blah. But steam of like 250 Celsius or some shit. It was like steam that like
you're
cooked a bunch of
getting
people.
cooked like
Yeah.
fucks you up.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, it's no fun. I don't know. It's
No
like
bueno.
it's wild though. Like going to an actual active volcano, like it's trippy. Like,
The one girl that's a survivor, she literally even said out loud, like, in the little, because there's like videos of them going and shit. What are the chances that this thing goes off? And the guy's like, oh, it hasn't gone off in a while, da 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 da. And she's like,
your chances are never. If your chances are not zero, you're always at dragon risk. You know.
and she was like, she like felt bad. She's like, I don't know, so like almost like she felt like she like spoken into existence or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's like everyone fucking asks that question. I'm sure there's one tourist on every tour that asks that fucking question.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't know, lava and shit's pretty cool. Like
For sure.
my mom's seen it multiple times on like Hawaiian Islands and shit like that. Like
Actually seen it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's constant, just constant like lava and shit moving. Like they're active. Like depending on what island you're on, there's magma, like lava flow tunnels and shit like that you can visit that are old and dormant. Then there's new ones. Like there's still villages where all of a sudden like they're chill and all of a sudden fucking lava comes, like it's an earthquake or something, and a crack comes up and there's lava coming out and fucking running right through the middle of town, fucking roads up and all this shit.
It's wild.
Yeah, and it's cool. I've only been there, like when I've been to Hawaii, I've only seen it like when it's cold and hardened, but it's fucking wild. But yeah, you can go visit
a big pile
and
of
see
asphalt
it.
or what?
Yeah, essentially, it's just a big black tar looking shit, but it's a real sharp rock, like volcanic rock. It's nothing to fuck with. That shit will cut you. Like
It's sharp?
it can be very sharp. Yeah, because it's like we have my
I kind
hometown
of thought
team.
it would look like a sponge.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. The sponge that's rock hard. That's like super abrasive,
yeah, I
right?
guess, Yeah.
It seems like it sounds similar to coral almost.
Yeah, exactly. Coral of the
guess.
land. Very
Is
not
that what
Gucci.
coral is? Just kidding.
It's water magma.
But yeah, and you can watch it flow into the ocean and shit like that. That's also a really cool sight. Like,
Does
just
it make the
watching-
water like steam instantly, or is it just instantly
well,
cool?
it cools down quick. It doesn't make the whole water steam, but like, you can see a little bit and you can hear it go, pss, you know.
Yeah.
And you can just watch it drip in there, and it looks.
That'd be cool.
Because it's so slow, like lava. You know, it's not.
Like you're not in danger, you could easily outrun it.
Yeah, you can literally like. There's when lava is like you can go approach it. You just obviously. You don't want to be standing right next to it. The heat's ridiculous, but like you
Yeah.
can get within probably 10 feet of it and be all right. Like it's hot as fuck, but you're
But it's not like a crazy mudslide that might just fucking come wipe you ass
yeah,
out.
I mean, unless there's an explosion, I mean, then you're fucked regardless if you're there or 10 feet further away. Like, but like when you're that far down, like if you're not right by the volcano and shit like that, there's not that much pressure, right? These are real slow lava flows that are just kind of, it's like the slowest mudslide you could ever fucking think of. You know? It's wild. It's really weird. That's what it's been described to me as by my mom. So.
That would be cool. I've never been to Hawaii, but that would be a cool place to go.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep volcano in us, or are you fucking would you rather in us?
I'll give you a would you rather. Would you rather walk in on your parents having sex or have them walk on you having sex?
Walk in on me.
That's disgusting.
I don't give a fuck.
Why did you have really vanilla, like, you're just kind of like...
Me?
Yeah. Like, what if... Wouldn't you be worried about what your parents are seeing you doing in there?
No.
That's what I'm asking you. Do you have very vanilla...
No.
Okay, fair enough. Why?
But
You don't want to see them or what?
You're afraid of what non-vanilla shit your parents are doing that you don't want to know, or what?
No. Actually, none of these... It's so funny. Like, none of these things... Like, one, I'm quite sure my parents are quite vanilla. Two, I'm really not. But my parents probably are quite... Like, I don't... I mean, of course, I don't tell my mom and dad everything that I do. I know everything about my fucking sex life, but I'm a pretty open book. Like, I'm pretty sure they're pretty aware that I'm not the most
You don't
vanilla.
think there's 69 in or anything? Or 74 in?
Yeah, I'm sure they don't think there's much that I wouldn't try in that field. So
That field.
I'm pretty
like
sure
you're a
that
microbiologist.
like I don't think there's. I mean, I'm sure there's some things that they could walk in on me doing and being like, "Yo, what the fuck?" But like, I don't know. My parents always know I was kind of a little weird, as they would say. Kind of did some other things that a lot of people don't necessarily do. So
Like dudes? Sorry, man. It was right there. I had to. I'm sorry.
Don't say funny. That's fucking hilarious. Don't say sorry. That's fucking hilarious. I mean, no, not yet, at least.
Yeah, there's always room to grow.
Fred's just out here getting pegged 24/7, you know. So.
Gross.
I mean, not yet. I haven't done that yet either. But
Oh, so you live a vanilla life, I see.
well, I mean,
So, does that mean
you're
yeah,
out
does
here
that
getting
mean
pegged? Yeah, Dan getting pegged out here.
getting that corn on the
I'm not the one
cob?
out here saying, I'm not vanilla, I'm quite
You know,
adventurous.
You know how I get down, Dan. Would you describe how I get down as a vanilla lifestyle?
No, but
I'm not saying I'm the kinkiest person in the world either.
I'd say it's more like Rocky Road than vanilla.
you ever meet Ray? Ray was the sales guy when you were at
He's not there
Chin Chin,
anymore,
you know?
old man Ray?
No. Like Ray, Ray Russo, like.
Yeah, Ray. He's not there anymore?
No, he's there.
Oh, okay, yeah. With the fucking, like, the hot wife?
The much younger than him wife,
The
yes.
much younger than him trophy wife?
Yes, correct. That's what I'm thinking of. What I'm thinking of, like, non-vanilla adventures guy. This fucking guy, man, like.
Well, I don't know how he gets down.
What? Ray never tells you stories, man. Fuck, I've heard it from everybody. And then this wife comes up and she does filing for us. And then I hear the wife's
Filing.
I hear no, she
Yeah.
actually files shit for us part time, and just for something to do. She gets bored, right? And then she tells all the office girls shit, and then I hear it through them, and I'm just like, ugh, did not need to know what old man Ray does with his
Well,
much
I don't
younger
know what
wife.
old man Ray does, but I know what middle-aged man Fred does, and I wouldn't necessarily describe it as vanilla. But I'm not the kinkiest person out there
Are
either.
you middle-aged? Does that make me
33.
Does that make me middle-aged as well?
I'd say 33 is probably the middle of our lives, or at least
31.
getting there.
Fuck. It's over, man.
Where's the midlife crisis at?
Oh, fuck.
Quarter life crisis.
Don't
at
get
this
me
point.
started, dog. You know me.
You're gonna
You
What
know
do you
me,
mean?
Dan.
I know you. you ain't had a real midlife crisis yet. If you have, then you've had mild
you're
ones.
gonna buy a motorcycle?
We couldn't afford a
Yeah,
motorcycle.
where's the Lambo, bro? Come on. Where's the crippling, terrible financial decision?
Fucking every day of my goddamn life. Yeah, I mean, that's my answer. I'd rather them just walk in on me fucking than me walk in on them.
I forgot that's what we were talking about still.
What about you guys? This is also another thing though, because You guys are both of your parents are separated, right?
Yeah.
Your parents are separated and your parents are separated. My parents are together. So that's like another thing is a lot of people are like weird about their parents having sex. Like parents have been married like 35 years. My dad's like damn near 70. If he's still getting it in, like fuck, bro, more power to you, dude.
But you'd still rather have them walking on you then.
I mean, I'm in a stable long-term relationship. I mean, whatever I'm doing, even if it's freaky with my girlfriend, it's whatever.
But if they're old and having just freaking let's barely touch each other.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see my parents fucking.
Okay,
I would just give my mom shit and be like, yo, one, why didn't you tell me you were coming over? That's abusing your right of having a key to my fucking house. And two, you could have fucking knocked. Like, I wasn't already in the living room. Like, what the
fuck? We brought you some pie.
Some cookies? She actually made me cookies the other day, chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like peanut butter myself, but chocolate chip are dope.
You like peanut butter cookies? My mom makes the best peanut butter cookies.
Prove it.
I will. Next time she makes some, I'll bring some for you. I've literally had people tell me they don't like peanut butter cookies, given them one, and they're like, yeah, those are fire.
That's my kind of cookie.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? You trying to see trying to see your mom get plowed, or you trying to yell at your mom see you get plowed? The strap on. The strap on.
Fuck you.
Gross. I think I would not.
Well, considering I'm single, the likelihoods of the one thing happening at the moment are very slim versus...
Yeah, you stick it to the wall, you know?
It said walking around having sex, not fucking self-love, you know?
Self-love.
Giving yourself a hand.
You guys have been caught beating it in your whole lives?
Nah.
No, but
close?
My mom did once ask me why I kept blowing my nose into my socks.
You actually use a sock to beat it?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I've never actually done that. Yeah, right? That seemed like a lot of detail.
Yeah, that seemed very convincing for us.
I'm quick with it.
I see, you're witty.
So when are we going to watch you do some stand-up?
Never.
That's why I want his face on this.
That's why I'm behind the...
What do you mean? Just put on a nice little ski mask and go on the stage somewhere and just bomb?
Done.
We'll cheer you on.